guys, Sypher here from Code Enigma. Gonna do a war recap series, and this is the first one against Reddit Pie. We'll just start off with this. We've managed to match ourselves. Unfortunately, it's not an arranged war. It's just the law of averages, I imagine. So, just finished a war with Reddit Pie. Their attacks were pretty pie as well, to be fair. They finished up with a couple of go wipes. I don't know whether they just given up hope or what, but not very impressed, to be fair. Quite a few 3 stars on our side. A lot of Town Hall 10 nukes, which is a bit disappointing, but what can you say? We failed on a lot of 9s on the second attack, so had to get the nuke out. We'll start with Sonu. Town Hall 10, early Town Hall 10 3-star. Mass Valk, which is where the game's at right now. Starts off with a giant to get an easy CC lure. Still obviously viable if it's a small investment. Drops a poison and then drags the drag in with a few archers and finishes it off with a wizard. A couple of minions at the top to get the funnel going. And then Mass Valks. Just a giant to tank a bit of point defense. And then in goes the Valks. It's not the prettiest of attacks, but it gets it done. It gets a lot that walk off actually at this point, but the king starts aggroing him, dragging him back in, but then loses him again. Jump into the core with the queen and heal. Both of these are on multi actually. It's not the best strategy against Valks because there's just get overwhelmed. So Valks coming around the top, queen on the inside. It's all over there. Thought we'd put it in anywhere. Credit where credit's due. We'll drop down to Marcel now. AKA Gorstop, AKA the girl next door. Anti-2 really. These guys had a couple of anti-2 bases, that some that tried to double as anti-3s and some that were just internet. A couple of golems and a couple of wizards. Quite a lot of wizards on the south to get that high HP out of the way. Nice big quake spell coming in, cracks everything open. No need for wall breakers. King, queen, redheads. The heal at this point actually is a rage and then into a heal, but the heal was a little bit off. Valks overshoot it quite quickly. A couple of giant bombs going off on the right, which is always good. Sprinkling pigs in. A lot of the Teslas are locked on in the core as well, which is nice. Doesn't have to use that heal too quickly. I think he's got a wizard on the south end, or a Valk, sorry, on the south end, cleaning up. Heal coming in. Potential for a double giant bomb actually. Just south of where they are now. I think they must have overshot it. Quite a nice path in actually. Yeah, and then a couple of archers popped in on the back end. And that is it. All wrapped up nice and quick as well. Swagability right at the end. GG. Where are we off to? Number 10. This is covers. I like this attack. It's reminiscent of one of the old holo wee-wees that we used to do with clumped cord air defences. Starts with Naked Walk. The queen, I think, so he drops his golems in a second, and the jump is quite ambitious or premature, perhaps. Basically, pulls the golems in, and they then aggro the CC before the queen gets a chance to shoot. I mean, he didn't know what was in the CC, but would have been better if the queen could have got to those loons. Quite a nice placement on that Tesla actually by the in the queen's compartment to force the ability. I think he's got probably one wizard on those CC loons that are just doing work. He got quite lucky. Double jump, opening up the rest of the base. And here come the loons. Probably could have sprinkled them in a bit earlier. Wizard up top, nice and early, would have been good as well. I don't think it takes too long to get to it though. The air defense at the left of the two that's remaining takes a while to go down. Actually, it causes a bit of trouble. Fast forward it for now, but a couple of bombs going off, taking out some of the loons. And you'll see the queen's on minimal health, but with those healers still on, she's going to get fired back up. King finally breaks through. There we go, we got round to the wizards in the end. And then, yeah, just sweeping up. So, on to Kevin, our resident sex slave. What are we at? 11. So quite a typical attack for the current meta. The wall breakers were causing a bit of drama. Thankfully he brought a few extra. A couple of golems down. His wizards as well could have been a bit better. They sort of started on the inside rather than on the outside working in. And he got very lucky with the mortars actually locked onto the wizard. If it was locked onto the golem, they would have been hit by that mortar. Nevertheless, king, queen, redheads, CC, and then his own redheads as well. Just smashed through that wall. No need for a jump. Poison going down on the pecker and loon. No trouble really. Queen's going to step up and do the work on the loon. Valks have dealt with the pecker. So from there, it's just into the core, rage, couple of hogs on the mortar, I think. Yeah. And then hogs on the right. He could have, I think, probably healed a bit sooner, or maybe the heal needed to Justin. He doesn't have many hogs that make it through. I think he could have probably done with an earlier heal. He does get some value on those redheads. But, by the time they get to the Tesla, there's only one or two hogs left. And the Valks make short work of it, but could have done with some more pigs coming through, I think. I'll skip it to the end, but good job nonetheless. Got the fresh 3, I think, which is worth its weight in gold right now with our cleanup game being so poor. Right, we're on to Godzilla. I wish I wouldn't call him that, but needs to be done. I think he starts throwing a bit of a tantrum if we call him Rossi. So again, another Quake Valk. I think it's going to be interesting to see where the Valk game goes to after this Springtrap update, and with the development that's going to come from the redheads, from the friendly challenge. I think we'll see some anti-Valk bases start trickling through. I think there's a lot of interesting to see how they're going to be anti-Valk. I think it's going to comprise a lot of spring traps in the core, especially if they're going to spring more Valks than they currently do. Nice funneling redheads in onto the aggroed king and queen. Got good value on that Quake actually, opening the second layer. Doesn't need any time for the redheads to beat through. Loon's causing a bit of trouble, but raged Valks are just going to fly through there. GB in the core, 2 GBs on the air defense. That's all it from now. He throws an Asian wall in actually, but 100% of them go onto the Tesla. Well, the Archer Tower and Tesla, so could have worked on that a little better, but nonetheless, Just a barrage of hogs really coming around that core, around the ring, sorry. He gets a bit lucky actually with this last phase of the cleanup. I'll just fast forward it a little bit. His hogs get sprung and then get melted by those last few point defences. And it's only with the cheeky wall breaker there. It's only with the king getting out in front. It saves the raid, I think. You'll see he's still got his ability, so the king gets out and does some tanking. And then the queen can come round and pop her goodness all over the face of that cannon and whiz, and that's it wrapped up. We're going to do something a little bit unconventional now. We usually, well, we do give out an MVP over at Code Enigma, and it's actually handed on from each recipient. So at the end of the war, whoever won it last war will pass it on to onto the newest. You know, might be for a 6-hour war. It might be for a. I think we had one guy that won it for a Town Hall 11 2-star right at the last minute, which won us the war. So that goes well. So onto that, the award goes to Jake, who normally receives our MVP, but he had a terrible first attack, which I'll love to show you. I'm sure he'll thank me for it. It does actually illustrate quite a nice point with all these anti-2 bases where the DPS is also clumped up. A lot of the time, some people are struggling on trying to hit it with anti-Valks, with the current, you know, Quake and Valk meta. But because the DPS is so compact, the hogs just tend to peter out quite quickly. I think here he was trying to, with those loons and a few hogs, he was trying to eliminate potential DGB spots. But then he drops all of his hogs on 4 different points. I mean, the spells are lovely and pretty, but don't get any value. I think the left one's gone already. No value on that right one at all. And that's it. I mean, a really terrible attack, but he is normally packing the 6-pack, so we'll give him some credit. I'll flash up his war stars as well, show you he's legit. He's in beast mode, but right, we'll leave it at that anyway. Not the best war, like I say, we had a lot of Town Hall 10s having to drop down near the end of the war. So yeah, Stu dropping down, Sonu dropping down, Chase dropping down, Danny dropping down, Joe dropping down. Not the best, but we'll take the win. Yeah, we're on to Code Enigma versus Enigma now. Italian clan, I think, yeah, with 55 wins, so should be nice. We'll see whether they're 2-star material or 3-star material. A lot of new guys actually. Wonder what, oh god, Enigma in Enigma. It's like Inception. Right, I'll leave you to it. We'll wrap this up, put it on YouTube, get some feedback from the guys in the clan, and move on to the next one. A couple of different series. I think we're going to try and get a few different guys doing different segments and different videos, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, take it easy.